What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch. My name is David Delano. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. First thing, other than thanking you for being here, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. I know that this is the downtime of the off season. Hopefully, you enjoyed today's show. We've got some things that are interesting to talk about, and the NBA schedule's coming out on Thursday, August 14th. We're going to break that down. We're going to be breaking down the Houston Rockets all season long. We're going to get through this football season and into the basketball season. So thanks so much. Go ahead and subscribe. And also feel free, if you're moved, to make a comment. And you can make that comment even if you're not moved by today's episode. Let us know what you would like to see. Any topics relevant to the Houston Rockets for you. Any areas that you think that we can improve. Anything that you liked about this show, didn't like about this show. I won't take it personal. Definitely welcome all comments. Now, if you're watching this show in August, odds are you're a big Houston Rockets fan, and we appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you right now up front, these are going to be some things that are on my mind, and they're not just mine, they're on the minds of other people, but I'm going to be kind of just speaking from what I see and some things that I may agree with. Now, this particular episode may be some things that you don't like because we want to be optimistic, but this is going to be a little bit of a glass half empty show. It's going to be a lot of different shows. We're going to have glass half full. There's going to be plenty of times to be excited about the Rockets, but right now as the roster is in place for now, barring trades, and I'm sure that there's going to be some changes during the season once we see things playing out. But after the draft, after free agency, for the most part, after the summer league, now a little bit of a down part, looking at the roster, things settling in. These are going to be some concerns that I have about this team and reasons why. At this point, I still have the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets ahead of the Houston Rockets as far as in my power rankings. And we're going to go ahead and talk about that. And the first thing here, we talked about Kevin Durant yesterday. Kevin Durant on social media, whether you love it, whether you hate it. Kevin Durant kind of trolling the Thunder, trolling the Warriors. Two different situations that it's okay. Kevin Durant can live his life however he wants. One of the most successful players in NBA history. But when you see that, okay, you're trolling Oklahoma City, it's about time, right? Well, you had a lot to do with that. After you left, they had to rebuild. They've rebuilt well. And then the Golden State Warriors, you're trolling them a little bit. They'll never get over the 2 championships that you led them to. But the Warriors have won a championship since you left, KD. And you have it. It's just, it's just the facts, right? It doesn't mean Kevin Durant's not great. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have the right to clap back. But those are the facts. And when you look at, just historically, bringing an aging superstar to Houston, no matter how great he is. Now, obviously, you could say Houston. And not even arguably, right? Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen back in those days. But if you look at the level that they're playing at this point in their career, it's hard to say. I think you have to say Kevin Durant is the best superstar that the Rockets have brought in as a free agent, especially at this point in his career when you look at the level that he is playing at, that he's played at, despite the age. When you look at his scoring ability, shooting ability, not many guys really are in that conversation in NBA history, let alone right now, let alone in Rockets history. But when you bring in a superstar like this, you got the culture in Houston. Now, you finally have a guy here that wasn't a superstar under Udoka now, who wasn't drafted by this team, wasn't really brought in as a role player, wasn't really brought in as a young kid, someone who's already an established, bona fide superstar. And you wonder, how is the chemistry going to match on this team? How's Jabari Smith going to play with them? How's Amin Thompson going to play with them? I think that him and Fred, 2 veterans, will play together nicely, but what type of example will it be? I saw on a podcast Lou Williams was talking about being a rookie coming in with the Philadelphia 76ers, and he had Kevin Ollie and he had Allen Iverson. And he was saying, and maybe this is probably going to be Jeff Green's role in a lot of ways, right? Jeff Green, I can see really playing this role, right? And he said that Lou Williams said he'd see Allen Iverson doing a lot of different things, and Kevin Ollie would see the gleam in his eyes, and he'd say, "Hey, Rook," or and obviously these guys aren't rookies, but on our roster, but young, very young players, and he said, "Hey, let me, Kevin Ollie, tell him, let me holler at you for a minute, man. You know, he does what he wants to do. We do what we got to do, and as established." Even Thompson, coming off of that, I'm not. I think Thompson. I think he's got it. I think he's a little bit of a throwback, old school type player mentality wise, and love what I've seen from him so far. But maybe one of the reasons with Cam Whitmore gone, seeing a little bit of that personality in him. We want guys that are going to continue to keep working hard. And as far as Kevin Durant, obviously more of a lead by example type of guy. Loved Allen Iverson, but I think that most people probably say Kevin Durant's work ethic as far as playing wise, a little, just stronger than Allen Iverson just from the work ethic perspective. And that can turn into a whole nother thing. I don't want to go left for 20 minutes there, but you just kind of wonder, how's that going to gel? Maybe how well will it gel? It's a question that we're going to have to see. And regardless, even with guys doing everything right and putting the work in, there's just a lot of natural gelling and natural chemistry that's going to come together. We talked about the lineups last week. Excited about all of the different lineups and possibilities, but how are those still going to work? You've got you've got a big lineup that we can go with. You've got young lineups, defensive lineups. You look at Şengün, Steven Adams, Capella. All of these different things that can happen, even if someone gets, even with injuries, possibly if he steps up, and even if there's some roles at some point for and Fally Dante coming up. How it's exciting, but how are these pieces going to gel together, and how often are you going to be able to play these different pieces together? So you get what I'm saying. A lot of ways I could go on and on about the chemistry, but chemistry is definitely going to be a question. And then, of course, expectations. We've already seen the official schedule. The full schedule's not out, but we do know Rockets are opening the season. The NBA on NBC returns October 21st with the Rockets going to Oklahoma City. Going to be all the shows are going to be talking about it, win or you lose, no matter how well Kevin Durant plays, whether the Rockets struggle, whether Kevin Durant, balls out and the young guys struggle, and it's a situation of, hey, it's a team. It's Kevin Durant. What about, I don't know about the rest of y'all. It's going to be overreactions either way, good or bad. Rockets also playing the Lakers on Christmas. Those are two situations during the regular season that are probably going to get more attention, more talk on shows like First Take and whatnot than any other games that the Rockets played last season during the regular season. The NBA Cup, that tournament in the same group with the Warriors, in the same group with the Denver Nuggets, Portland Trailblazers. Even in that NBA Cup, you know that they're going to play hard. Last season, they weren't really checking for Houston like that. This season, even if some of you guys don't like the fact that I said right now I've got Denver and the Thunder ahead. If you think Houston should be number one, just imagine everyone is going to have that mentality, and you're going to be getting team's best effort more so even than last year. Last year, it took a while. People were sleeping on the Rockets early on. No one's going to be sleeping on the Rockets from the jump. So how's this Kevin Durant? Now, this is a situation I'm not as concerned about him, but how are some of these other guys? I mean, Jabari Smith, Thompson, we talk about, I mean, even Dorian Finney-Smith, Koji. There's so many different guys. Reed Shepard. How big of a role is Aaron Holiday gonna have? All of these guys going to be in big situations with high expectations. Um, I love Shingun, but this is still the bar now is even higher. More people coming off of that All-Star season checking for him and even expecting a little bit more out of him. How are the Rockets going to handle the expectations? And even when you look at the durability concerns, there's so much on Kevin Durant with the Western Conference being so tight. Is Kevin Durant going to play 82 games? Probably not. Is he going to play 72 games? I hope so. But what if we only get 60 games out of Fred? What if we only get 60 games out of Durant? If they miss 20, 22 games, how's that going to affect the seeding? Is that going to be the difference between a 2 seed and a 5 seed? So all of these different expectations and things are going to matter. And even behind the scenes, the pressure with some of these guys knowing this is a win now mode. And if they don't perform, they could possibly be traded. Tari Eason still, waiting to hear on a big extension potentially. All of those different things. Expectations are going to be a lot higher. How are guys going to perform under those? And then also, we talked about this before, the lack of shooting. Rockets are 21st in three-point shooting last season. Only team that made the playoffs that was worse was the Orlando Magic, who, with Desmond Bane, they've done a lot to improve that. Rockets did a lot to improve that with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, Dorian Finney-Smith expected to really increase this. You're also hoping, Jabari Smith shoots a little bit better, hoping with better spacing that Fred's going to shoot a little bit better. Koji, a little bit up and down, but he's someone that open can have a highly effective year from 3-point range. We're hoping Reed Shepard can perform in spots and shoot better from 3-point range, but a lot of reliance on Kevin Durant, 3-point shooting wise. What about when the ball is not in Kevin Durant's hands? Made a lot of nice defensive upgrades. I mean, this team is stacked defensively, but with all of the defensive upgrades, guys who could guard the perimeter, the Rockets repeatedly, over and over again, have chosen to upgrade, to take defense over. I know 3-and-D is what you want, but we've taken a little bit less in 3-point shooting at times with certain players to make sure that defense was in place. And defense is extremely important. I love it, but still, when you start to look at the playoff picture and teams like even Oklahoma City, teams who can shoot the three and defend, do we have enough 3-point shooting on this team? And especially in the backcourt at the point guard position. We're going to see. So let me know what concerns you have about the Rockets with all of these different situations, or any other concerns that you have. And you can also talk about some positive stuff here. Let's go ahead and continue with our Rockets history here. Finally, 1988-89 season. We talked about the 87-88 season last year, and one thing I did not mention on that, to mention Ralph Sampson only playing 19 games for the Rockets. He was actually traded in the middle of the season, well, really early in the season. So that was the end of the Ralph Sampson era in Houston. And also Bill Finch got fired afterwards. So this was the first year we had a new regime in Houston with Don Chaney coaching the Rockets. Very, very successful basketball career as a player at the University of Houston, and also won a couple championships as a player with the Boston Celtics. This particular season, the Houston Rockets went 45-37 and finished with the 5th seed in the playoffs, and lost in the very first round. Seattle Supersonics, now becoming a familiar nemesis, lost game 1. It's a close game in Seattle, lost game 2 in Seattle, came back and won game 3, and then narrowly lost the deciding game 4. Well, deciding because it eliminated the Rockets. It was a possibility to force a game 5. Rockets lost game 4, 98-96. So it was a 3-1 series loss for the Rockets. Elijah Wan once again led the team with 24.8 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, and 3.4 blocks per game, along with 2.6 steals all the way around. And also was dominant in the playoff series despite the loss. This was the first season coaching the team for Chaney, and there were some nagging injuries that hurt the team this season, including John Lucas, who missed some time. Now, a big thing about this season in the history of the Rockets, not just this year, but also going forward and really in the entire legacy of the Rockets, was the team acquiring Otis Thorpe, which was huge in this situation. So the Rockets acquired Otis Thorpe from the Sacramento Kings, who, before that he came into the league with the Kansas City Kings, moved to Sacramento, but Thorpe was traded for Rodney McRae and Jim Peterson. And Otis Thorpe really turned into a huge workhorse. So the 2 seasons prior with Sacramento, he played 82 games, and Thorpe also played 82 games with the Rockets this season. He'd go on to play 82 games for the Rockets the next 3 seasons after that. And in this first season with the Rockets, Thorpe averaged 16.7 points per game and 9.6 rebounds per game, which was second on the team in both categories behind Elijah Wan. You also had a Sleepy Floyd, who averaged 14.2 points per game. 28 years old. Thorpe was 26 at the time. Elijah Wan was 26 years old. Mike Woodson on this team, 12.9 points per game. So, a lot of different things going on for the Rockets this particular season. Unfortunately, it ended in a first-round loss. But as I mentioned in some of these different names, talking about Otis Thorpe, obviously Elijah Wan, and this was the 88-89 season. Obviously, you guys know there were going to be some bigger and better things coming soon for the Rockets, although it was going to take some time. And that's also something to think about this year. I know Kevin Durant, older, but when you look at this roster overall, NBA is different now. A lot of impatience, and I definitely understand it. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, hopefully this is something that we're building, and we have the foundation to still be competing even after Durant retires, with a lot of assets, a lot of draft picks, a lot of young talent to be excited about, despite the changing culture in the NBA with everything now with the salary caps. This was today's edition of Rockets Daily. Thanks so much for watching, and really excited for tomorrow. We will see. I know the NBA schedule comes out on Thursday, although there is a chance that tomorrow's episode that comes out will probably come out before I actually have the schedule in hand, so it'll probably be Friday when we really get to break down the schedule. But we'll see what new developments, what other leaks that we have. I want to put the episode out for Thursday early. May wait a little bit to see what developments we get, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll definitely catch you guys throughout the season. Follow me on X at Get Sports Strong. Subscribe here. Rockets Daily brought to you by FanArch. Be safe out there.